What's going on, YouTube? My name is Zach with Android Digest, and today I want to talk about the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8, and I want to talk about cases and other accessories for the tablet. So I've got 4 different cases from 4 different brands, and I've even got a Samsung case right here, and that's the Samsung book cover. And I've also got 2 of my favorite Bluetooth keyboards. I've got a Samsung Bluetooth keyboard and also a Logitech Bluetooth keyboard. I've also got some screen protector recommendations just from my experience, and even some SD card recommendations. So with all that being said, let's get started and let's find out the best accessories for the Tab S8. Alright, so the first thing I want to talk about is this Samsung case right here. And I should mention that all accessory links are in the description, so if you want to buy anything, check out those links. But here we have a Samsung book cover. Now this is extremely lightweight. It actually magnetizes to the back of the tablet. It does come in multiple different colors, so if you don't like this color, there are multiple options out there. All you have to do is just line up the case with the back of the tablet, and whenever you do that, it does actually magnetize to the tablet. It's very similar to the book cover keyboard in that way. And once you actually look on the inside of the case, you could actually pull apart this device and you could see the bottom part. It comes unmagnetized, so that part is a little bit easier to take out, and it magnetizes to these 2 slots right here for 2 different angles. And when you do close it, it does magnetically close, so that's really nice. And again, super lightweight. Now it's not going to really protect a lot on the sides. Now if you did drop it on the side, this little part of the book cover, it does stick out a little bit, so if you do drop it, most likely you're not going to damage the sides of your tablet. But if you had a rock or something weird poking out, it could poke out. This does not have bumpers on the sides of this case, so of course your tablet could be a little bit compromised if you're not careful. Now one of the negatives of this case is that the S Pen is not protected, so if you put your S Pen right here, you could knock it out if you're not careful. But Samsung did think of that, so you can actually put your S Pen right here on the inside, and that is a big benefit. It does magnetize there. You can close it shut so the S Pen will not go anywhere. This case also gives you very easy access to your fingerprint sensor, which of course is in your power button. So overall, this is a very great case. It feels like almost leather on the outside. It does feel very premium. And the only real downfall of this case is of course that it's not quite as protective as some other cases, but also the fact that the S Pen, if you want to charge it, you do have to put it here, and if you forget about it, again, you could knock it out if you're not careful. But if you want a very thin case, a case that feels very premium, and if you want one of the lightest cases that you're going to find out there, this is definitely going to be it. This really is honestly one of my favorite cases, and I really like it. Now there is another case maker called Timovo, and they are a case maker that honestly decided just to copy this case, and I'm not saying they literally tried to copy it, but this is almost identical to that Samsung case. So I got it in blue. Again, it does have different colors, but you could see right here, the S Pen is not protected. You could see here, there are 2 magnetic slots on the bottom. So the bottom of this tablet here, especially with this right here, the little keyboard pins, they will magnetize to this case. You'll have 2 different viewing angles, just like the Samsung case. When you close this case, it's also protected. Again, it's magnetized just like the Samsung case. Now the magnets aren't quite as strong on it, so you could see there's just a slight amount of wiggle on the case, but still this will stay shut in most situations. So you could really take everything that I said about the Samsung case and apply it to this. Just keep in mind that it's made of a little bit of different materials. They feel slightly less premium, but it still feels very close to the Samsung case. So if you are wanting a cheaper alternative compared to the Samsung case, and you don't mind just taking one step down in the quality of materials, this is a pretty good case overall. Now some of you might want something that's a little more heavy duty, and for a long time I've been recommending a lot of Poetic cases. I'll put links in the descriptions for those because there are some great cases out there that are very large and very bulky. There are cases that come with screen protectors built in, and there's some good reputable ones that I will make sure to link in the description. But this Spigen case is very unique because it's almost a middle ground between very protective and also very lightweight. So you have this plastic part of the case that just fits around the device. So the good news is you do still have a nice bumper around the device, so the device is very well protected protected if you drop it. But this case isn't extremely bulky. It doesn't have two separate pieces that are really large and snaps together. Nothing like that. It's just a nice little bumper around the case, and you have this little book cover part that just goes over the top of it. Now, if you take a close look at this case, one thing you're going to see is that this case does a great job of securing the S Pen. You've got little plastic tabs right here that stick out, so when you put the S Pen in, it's going to stay nice and secure. There are still magnets that actually close this book cover part, so if you do actually close it, it will actually magnetize here at the top. So if you do drop this device on the ground, not only do you have this book cover part protecting your device, but you also have these bumpers all around the screen. So this tablet is going to be very well protected. And one other thing I need to mention is that this case only has 2 viewing angles. So if you want to actually set this tablet up to actually set it on your lap or set it on a table, you actually have to magnetize this right here. It just magnetizes together when you curl it around, and that will stop the actual tablet whenever you're using it. And you could turn it around the opposite way, of course, if you want to lay it down that way as well. So 2 viewing angles isn't a lot of viewing angles. I know some cases have a little bit more, so that is one of the downsides of this case. It does still have holes for your speakers and for your USB-C port, and honestly, I just love how lightweight this is. I know part of that is because the tablet itself is so lightweight, but when you look at a very protective case, they're often a lot heavier. So this is heavier, of course, than the Samsung book cover, but it's still lighter than some heavy-duty cases out there. So if you want a good protective case, this is one of my favorite cases that I would highly recommend from Spigen. So this next case I want to talk about is very, very similar. It's actually a case by Fintie, which is another popular case brand on Amazon. In the same way as the Spigen case, if you want to set it up to view it, you're actually going to have to do this right here, magnetize this part, and you have 2 different viewing angles. When you put the tablet in the case, you're going to have these nice bumpers that also go all around the tablet. Now this case isn't the lightest case in the world, but again, it's not one of the heavier cases, and it's still going to be very protective. If you drop this case while it's shut, the good news is there are magnets again at the top of this case. And just like the Spigen case, there is a little bit of a ridge for your power button so you get easy access to your fingerprint sensor. There are holes for the speakers on both sides of the tablet. But the one difference between this case and the Spigen case is not only, of course, the material and the design, but also the S Pen, because on the back of this case, it does not protect your S Pen. But they do give you this extra spot on the inside to put your S Pen, so if you do still want to protect your S Pen, you can protect it there. So I don't really see a lot of significant differences between this case and the Spigen case. A lot of it just comes down to the material, of course, of the case. The Spigen case does feel nice and grippy here on the outside, and it's got these little grips here and here. While this case here, it feels sort of like a unique fabric case. Of course, it might be different depending on which color you pick, and you might be able to pick a different version. But overall, I think these 2 cases are very similar, and it's really just down to preference. If you want the heaviest of heavy-duty cases, of course, Otterbox will make a great case for this device. Poetic also makes some good cases that are very, very protective, and I'm going to have links for those in the description. But if you want something a little bit more lightweight, of course, I think the Spigen works really well. I think the Fintie case works great. And if you want something thin that's just super, super portable, I think Samsung makes a great book cover case, and I think Timovo does a pretty good job of trying to duplicate that. Now, you might be wondering what else you could use with your tablet. You might be wanting a tempered glass screen protector, and I've got one tempered glass on my device right now, and I've used a lot of different tempered glasses between the Tab S7 and the Tab S8, so I'm going to link some of those in the description for you as well, and I will link some ones that I've had some good luck with. Keep in mind that all of these tempered glasses should work very well, but of course you have to be someone who's good at putting them on without bubbles, and that's really a tough job. Now, if you're wanting a Bluetooth keyboard, I've got 2 different options here that I really like. Now, Samsung has this Bluetooth keyboard right here that they offer on their website, though it does go sold out from time to time. Now, it's a little bit under $50, so it is a little bit expensive, but the one great thing about this keyboard cover is that it does have a lot of options at the top on the function row. You can change the brightness. It also does have a DeX button, so if you want to open up Samsung DeX from your keyboard, this is a great option. You can also connect this to 3 different devices via Bluetooth. It looks like you could also pair different apps. I haven't tested that out, but it looks like you can pair different apps to these buttons right here. And on top of all the functions, this is just a very good compact keyboard. Don't expect something legendary, okay? It's not going to be some perfect keyboard that's like $100 made with premium keys. These are, of course, plastic keys, but they still feel very, very nice. I still still get pretty good travel out of this, and the keys are large enough that I don't have to stress about it. And comparing this to the Tab S7 keyboard, you're going to get more travel on the keys, and the keys will be a little bit larger than that keyboard. This keyboard is also a similar size to the Logitech K380, which is a very popular compact keyboard. If I put them side by side here, you could see that they're nearly an identical size, so there's not a huge difference between them. Now, both the Logitech K380 and the Samsung keyboard, they do use batteries, but I don't think that's a terrible thing because you don't have to replace them very often. It's like once every 6 months. But it's really nice to have a nice Samsung branded keyboard, and again, it doesn't cost too much more if you could find it on eBay or Samsung's website, and if you can get your hands on it. So I will have some updated links in the description, so hopefully you'll be able to nab this. Now, this Logitech K380, I really think it's like the same quality, of course, as that Samsung keyboard. It just isn't a Samsung keyboard. So there's no Samsung Dex button, for example, on this. You can still connect this to 3 different devices here whenever you do pair it. There's still a lot of cool, useful things you can do on the top row. You just don't get that Samsung Dex button. I really do like the travel on the keys. I love how these keys are compact and nice, but at the same time, they're still a little bit larger than you would find in the keyboard cover for the Tab S7. And the travel on these is pretty good as well. So this is a good option if you want most of the features that Samsung offers on their keyboard, but you want to pay a little bit of a lower price. Finally, my last piece of advice, if you are wanting an SD card, the Tab S8 does actually work with SD cards, which is amazing. Just remember, do not buy an SD card that's from a third-party seller with a low seller rating. There's a lot of scams on Amazon with SD cards, so you want to make sure that you're actually buying from Amazon.com, not just the website, but from the actual seller, or buy from someone with incredible feedback and a lot of sales. So hopefully this video has helped you out. I really appreciate you watching. Feel free to use all the links in the description, which will take you to all the accessories that your heart desires. Give me a like and of course a subscribe if you love this video. And don't forget, I made a ton of videos about accessories for this device. And I also made a ton of other videos about Samsung tablets as well. So feel free to leave a comment if you have questions. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for supporting my channel, and I hope you have a tremendous day.